We're live. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody is doing good this evening, and I hope you guys can see and hear me okay. I already see people joining into the chat, and today is going to be I'm going to be talking about all the embroidery tools and little hacks that I use to do machine embroidery on not just multi-needle, but also flatbed machines as well. So it's something that I haven't done in a while. And I wanted to share with you guys some of the things that I like to use, some of the things that, are really helpful, and even some of the hacks, things that I actually use to help me with embroidery that you really normally wouldn't think that somebody would use. Okay. So before I start saying hi to everybody in the chat, you guys know how I like to do. I like to talk about the topic in the first hour because I do talk a lot. And then afterwards, I like to go into the chat room and then say hi to everybody and answer any questions or anything that you want to share. So let's get to it and let's talk about these hacks. Okay, so I wrote down a couple of things, but as I was walking around my sewing room, I started picking up more stuff because I was like, yeah, I use this, I use that. So I want to share some of this stuff. So there's no particular order in which I'm gonna go down this list, but I just want to make sure that I share it with all you guys so you guys can know exactly what it is. So I'm going to first go down to what I actually wrote down on paper and then actually start talking to you guys about what I started picking up as I started walking around my room. Okay. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is a wristband. Okay. Now, a wristband is something that looks like this. Usually what this is that kids actually play with this. It's something that they snap around their wrist. They kind of wear it like a bracelet. I think they do it for games and stuff like that. Well, almost choked on myself. Okay, so instead of kids playing with it, what I actually use this for is to wrap it around my big combs. And I forgot to grab one, so let me grab one so I can show you what I mean. Okay, so here, I'll just grab one right here. Here we go. So these are the big combs of threads that I usually buy. Okay, usually when I buy the big combs, I actually like the Madeira brand a lot better. I know there's a lot of brands out there and they're all great and stuff, but it's just a particular preference of mine. So what I like about these is that they fit really nicely on the big combs. Okay, so I wrap them around just to keep my threads really nice and neat. So these are not really actually made for this purpose, but it works really great. It helps me keep my threads nicely organized. That way I don't have those tails going all over the place on the rack, and they kind of work. So that's the first one that I have for you. The other one, kind of in line with this wristband, is the thread huggers. And I had one here, and I think, did Mello steal it? I think my dog may have stole it. Okay. All right, so let me just grab one of those. Okay. So a thread hugger is something else that I actually use. It's the same concept, okay? Just like for this, I actually use these to hold my threads and to keep them neat also. That way you don't have the tails running all over the place. However, though, these thread huggers actually serve different purposes. Not only will they help you to keep your threads kind of nice and neat, but it can also help you with your machine embroidery if you are embroidering something on a flatbed or multi-needle and you just need to gather the fabric, okay? And I'll share with you how I do it. Now, for instance, let's make believe, okay, that this is actually on a flatbed, and I need to curl this just to hold it out of the way. Usually I will take one of these and I will wrap it around the corner and it'll actually hold it. This is really a great method if you are embroidering a baby onesie, right? Because the thing is, you're kind of floating the item, and then you have a lot of pieces of the onesies that can kind of get in the way. So you actually roll those pieces up and you put this on there just to hold it, to keep it out of the way. So it kind of serves a multi-purpose, and I really, really like these. machines. So these are pretty inexpensive. Same thing like the wristbands. You can find them all over on Amazon. You don't have to get the pricey ones. You could probably even find them on, I think it's Timo. So, just look around, get the best price, and then you got it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go get like a Pacific brand or anything like that. They all work great. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to share with you guys also is double-sided tape. Okay. This is pretty thick, very strong double-sided tape. Now, there is a lot of different types of double-sided tape that you can buy. You can buy the strong one like I have here, or you can buy one that, is sticky, but it's not like overly strong. Okay. The reason why I like this one is because I do a lot of embroidery on bags. Okay. So one of the things that I do is when I have my frames or my dookie frames and I'm putting the bag on top of it, sometimes I really want to make sure that the bag doesn't shift in the process of embroidering it, right? Because if it shifts, then what happens is your embroidery can kind of be misaligned. So one of the things that I do is I will either use a clip just like this. This is a regular paper clip. Nothing special about this. You can get these a dime a dozen, okay? Get them in you can get them at a dollar store, you can get them at Staples, Office Depot, whatever. Just plain paper clip. And I use that to kind of like just hold the fabric down so that way it doesn't shift. Now, when I do use my fast frames or my dookie frames, I do also use sticky stabilizer. But sometimes I can have a bag that it just simply cannot shift at all. Okay. It's probably a very thick bag or something like that. In that situation, then what I do is I use a double-sided tape along with the sticky stabilizer underneath. The reason why I do this is because I put this along the side of the edges. Okay. And then when I place the bag on top, not only does it have the adhesive of the sticky stabilizer, but it will also have the adhesive along the edges for the double-sided tape like this. That way it's kind of like a reinforcement and it really won't shift anywhere. I have a ton of success with this. The last thing you want to do is to mess up a bag, especially if it's an expensive one. So this works really, really great. Highly recommend. Double-sided tape, always have it handy because believe me, it'll help you with a lot of projects. Besides double-sided tape, make sure you get regular tape too. The reason why I like regular tape is because if you kind of embroider similar the way I do, I like to sometimes print out the embroidery design. Okay. When I print out the embroidery design, I always like to place it on the garment to see exactly where I'm going to actually embroider the design. And in those particular situations, I kind of just use regular tape. You can use painter's tape, you can do paper tape or scotch tape. The main goal is just to keep the paper template actually on the garment so that when you put it in the machine, you can measure and make sure that you're embroidering it right on the same spot that you actually want that template to be. Okay. After that, after you measured everything and you know exactly that your machine is going to be embroidering right where you want it, that's when you can just simply just peel off the template and start the process of embroidering. Works great every time. And one of the things that I really love about the tape is that the adhesive, okay, just doesn't damage the item at all. It peels off really easy, no residue either. So I really, really, truly love it. The other thing that I like to do when we're talking about marking your fabrics and stuff like that, I like to use stickies. And I have them here. Hold on, I'm going to find them. I have, oh no, can't find them. Here we go. This to me is a must. What this is all it is little round stickers, okay? If you don't like to print your template out or anything like that, but you want to make sure that you start embroidering in a particular spot, okay? I like to use stickers. There's a reason for it too. I have tried those marking pens, the ones that get removed with the heat. I have used them, but then I ended up finding out that the actual line reappears whenever the garment is in the cold. I've also have tried using chalk and other marking pens, okay, where it's like, you can take it off with the wash and stuff like that. I kind of don't really like that. I really don't care for it. I mean, I've tried it and it worked okay, but it just really wasn't my particular favorite method of it, because I was always afraid that the garment or the item was going to be damaged in some way. But then when I started to use these, I felt a lot better. So as you can see, and I'm going to show you up front, all it is these are little stickers, okay? I get a pack of these, got them right off of Amazon. Just look for like little round stickers and stuff. You can get a dozen at a pack. You could probably even get these at the dollar store if you look. I mean, I'm sure they probably do have them. The whole main thing of this is just so that you can mark the center as to where you want your embroidery to start sewing. Okay, that's all it is. It's just a placement. So I mean, I find that this is much simpler, doesn't damage anything. You just place it where you want it. Once you're done measuring and everything, just as similar as as what I was talking about before, when you print out the template and stuff like that. Peel it off. Just peel it off and then just do your thing. Works great every time, doesn't leave any residue, and it's great. It's one of the best things that I like to use, okay? Now, talking about also when you're using when you're trying to hoop with sticky stabilizer, okay? Sometimes you don't have sticky stabilizer. Sometimes you want to use cutaway and you want to float, and you don't want to use the sticky stabilizer because you need the cutaway because it has that particular strength and that width, right? In that situation, what I recommend that you do is that you go to the dollar store and you go to the Odo section. And in the Odo section, you're going to see these things. Now, these are actually covers for the steering wheel of the car, okay? You don't have to use it for the cover of the steering wheel of the car. I'm going to show you right now. Okay, this is the 5x7 hoop for my flat needle, okay? And sometimes when I want to embroider like a shirt or something like that, and I don't want to use sticky stabilizer or even a dinner napkin, I don't want to use that either. I just want to use cutaway or tearaway or some other type of stabilizer. What you do is first you put your stabilizer in the hoop, okay, because you want to float it. And then what you do is you take this and you just wrap it around the actual hoop, okay? Now, if you're new to embroidery, or if you never tried this method before, you may come out and go, well, Jeanette, I don't understand why you're doing that. Well, the reason why I'm doing that is because once I have this like this, okay, I will take my temporary spray adhesive, and I like to use KK2000. I know a lot of people use 505, which is great too. I just kind of just a preference that I have. That's all. Not one is better than the other, but I take this and then I spray it. When I spray it, I have my adhesive going on my cutaway or my tearaway stabilizer. Now, when you are spraying it, it can get kind of messy, all right? And one of the things that'll happen is when you're spraying on it, some of the adhesive from the spray will end up getting on your hoop, okay? After a while, at first you may not notice it and you'll probably be like, it's all right. But after a while, it's going to start to get gunky. It's going to start to get dirty. And then you're probably going to, you could wash it and all that kind of stuff. But I figured for $1, okay, which, let's think about this for a minute. Wait a minute, though. Now that I'm talking about this, it's not $1 anymore. Let's be honest, okay? $1.25, okay? I mean, it's only a matter of time before it goes up again, okay? I don't even know why they don't just change that name already. But hey, it is what it is, right? So for $1.25, you can get something similar to this, okay? And then you can just spray it and then take it off and then put it on your machine, float your item and stuff, and you'll be good to go, okay? And the thing is too, is one of the things that I like about this is I've had this particular one for a good while When it has gotten pretty ugly, usually what I'll do is I'll just take this and I just throw it in the wash, okay? And I throw it in the wash, I throw it in the dryer. Then when it comes out, it's nice and clean, and I can still actually use it. I mean, the only time, this is really my second one. The first one had nothing to do with it being damaged in the washer or the dryer. It actually had to do with my dog. Okay. Mello got a hold of it and he thought it was a toy. He thought it was the greatest thing. And he was playing with it and he ripped it all up. So then I had to go to the dollar store and just buy another one. So I've had this for over a year. Okay. So they work really well. They help you keep your hoops clean. So to me, this is a great little hack. It's not meant for machine embroidery, but it works great in helping you keep those hoops nice and clean. That way you don't have to like wash them and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So let's see. Let me go down that list. Got more. Okay. All right. So the other thing that I like, okay, let's talk a little bit about scissors, cutting scissors, and all that kind of stuff and everything. I do have a pair. It's called Easy Snips. These snips, I really do enjoy them. I think they are very, very handy whenever I am embroidering on my flatbed and even on my multi-needle, okay? Sometimes you have those jump stitches, okay? Because you get jump stitches sometimes too in machine embroidery, depending on how they did that design. Now I'm going to turn on the fan. Hold on, because I am hot. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. I'm going to turn it on. Here we go. All right, that's going to help a little bit. So one of the things that I like about these snips is these snips have like a little hook. Oh yeah, that feels a lot better. Okay, so let me show you what these look like. Okay, see on the edge, see how right here at the bottom right here, it has like a little hook. Okay, and what I really like about these is that when you are embroidering and you have these little jump stitches in there, it helps you easily with the hook pick up that jump stitch and just snip it. Okay, I've had these now for over a year. Loved it so much that I had to actually go out and buy another pair and send it over to my sister, because sometimes she likes to do embroidery too, because I was like, oh my God, I really love these snips. Okay, before having these, what I used to do is I used to get a pair of tweezers. Okay, which you can, if you don't want to get these, you can, that's fine. You could just get a nice pair of tweezers. Okay, these are regular tweezers for our eyebrows and stuff. So just get this, and you can use this to actually pick up your thread. Take it doesn't have to be these snips. You can take regular scissors or whatever. I actually recommend using embroidery scissors if you can. Where are my embroidery scissors? I think I have them somewhere. No, I don't have them handy with me right now. Okay. But if you have embroidery scissors, here we go. These are my favorite. Okay. I actually discovered this scissor set, and they're the brand is actually what is it? It's Karen K Bailey, I think it is. And I will tell you, I love these because they're like super sharp. Okay. I gotta be honest with you guys. Sometimes you get what you pay for. All right. Now, these were not cheap scissors. That is for sure. I did get them off of Amazon, and they were not cheap. However, these are the embroidery scissors. And as you can see, it's very, very small and thin. And I love these because they really do help me get those really small threads. Okay. There is another scissor that I really, truly love, and it was gifted to me by Miss Banks. And I use these a lot also. These are called side hoppers. Okay. These are really, really cool. The reason why I love these is because they help you get these jump stitches too. Okay. I never heard of these before until she gifted me this, and I was like, what is that? And she was like, it helps you with the jump stitches. The really small ones, hard to get jump stitches, this is the one that you use. And I want to give you a close up so you can see. I mean, it comes in like this angle, so it really helps you to really dig in there. And then you just press these. See, to I don't know if you guys can see Get these. These are pretty. They're not cheap. I tell you what, they're not cheap. I even went online and purchased myself another pair. And when I saw how expensive they were, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, she got me this, you know. So I got another one because I was so afraid of losing these, right? Because I was like, oh my God, you know, because they're so small. So, you know, and you know, it's so easy to lose things sometimes, right? Like my thread, you know, my little I lose so many of these, and what ends up happening is, you know, sometimes I buy a lot of spares because if something is really small and I use it a lot, I'm always afraid that I might place it somewhere and then not find it. Okay, so one of the things that I do is sometimes when I have to look for replacements, what I'll do is I'll buy like 4 or 5 of them, and then I'll have like a box stored on the side, so just in case I do lose it, I don't have to panic or anything. I got plenty aside. So yeah, but this is a really great pair of scissors that Miss Banks had gifted me. Love them. They work really, really well. That is one thing that I am starting to notice, especially when it comes to scissors. Okay. Sometimes you see scissors that are pretty inexpensive, and at first you're thinking, okay, I can, you know, let me just get these. One of the things that I noticed with those inexpensive brand is that sometimes they get dull pretty quickly. And I really do care for my scissors. I don't use you know, I have my scissors all for specific purpose, okay? I don't take my scissors and go cut paper and then come back and cut fabric. That's something that I learned very early on when I jumped into this world of sewing and embroidery. You really cannot do that because it can really mess up the blade of your scissors. So but I started looking into certain scissors that I was purchasing, and I noticed that the more inexpensive the scissors were, the quicker that they got dull, even though I was only using them to cut my threads and cut my fabrics. So then I started to explore a little bit on the higher end size to see is there a reason why, right? And I have to be honest with you guys, there is a difference when you spend $2 on a pair of scissors versus $10, 15 or $20. There is a big, big difference. Now, let me show you my favorite scissors to cut fabric, okay? I really love this brand, and it's a dangerous brand, I will tell you, okay? This is K. I don't know if you can see it really up close. There it is. I think you can see it. It's KAI 7280. Okay, now these are for fabric. Okay, now I really love this brand, the KAI. Okay, I actually have their rotary cutter. Okay, this is their rotary cutter, and I really love using this one. The reason why I love using this one is because you actually have to press down for the blade to come out. Okay, and I have had some situations where I've accidentally sliced my finger, and I was just like, that's not cool. Okay, I mean, it was just like, whew. So I saw a lady use this, and I asked her what brand it was, and you know, I just like took a picture of it, and then I was able to find this on Amazon, and I really, really, truly love it. There is another one that was also gifted to me that I truly love. This is a little bit on the expensive side, and I this is a Martelli. It's a Martelli one, and what I love about it is that the way that this works, it's like you hold it here, you put your finger here, and then you cut. Okay, really cool, sharp. You know, it's a really great item. Love this one too. This was also a gift, and I have to tell you, I out of the rotary cutters, I love this one. This is the first one that I always grab, and then I always, if I cannot find this one right away, then I go and I grab this one. This is like my second favorite. This became my first favorite when I got this. I was like, wow, this is like really nice. I really like this one because it feels comfortable in the hand, the way you hold it, right? You just hold it like this, and then you have your finger right on here. I just really like the way it feels, you know? So it works really, really good. So as for like the rotary cutter, these are like my favorites and stuff. All right then. Okay, so let me move on along. Um, the other thing that I have here. Okay, let's talk about cleaning. Um, there's a lot of times when you get your machine, whether it's a flatbed or a multi-needle, you end up having to get like a brush to clean it, right? Most of the machines come with its own brush. But what happens is over time, that brush is going to get dirty and stuff like that. And then you have to find another way to, another kind of replacement brush. You could try to buy the same brush that came with the machine, but what happens is it can get kind of on the pricey side. So I started looking for inexpensive ways that I can get certain brushes that'll work with the multi-needle and also with the flatbed. So this is what I have come up with. Well, one of the things that is my favorite when it comes to the multi-needle is these brushes. Now, let me tell you, you can buy these by 500 to a bag, okay? What this actually is these are mascara brushes so that you can put it on your eye. You could just take this, and one of these will last you like forever. Okay. I mean, you really don't need 500 of these. Okay. You only need like a small pack. And what it is I really like it is that it actually attracts the dust. So I can actually just push this in there and then really start cleaning really good in there. You can also use these for the single needle machine. Works great because what it is actually you just want to get the dust out. Okay. So this kind of works really, really well. The other option, if you don't want to use something like this, is that you can go to Five and Below and then you can get yourself a pack of makeup brushes. Okay. The makeup brushes work just as well. You can get these like really inexpensive, and you can probably even get them from the $1.25 store. I'm going to call it $1.25 because that's how much they're charging now. Okay. And you can use these to actually clean out the your lint and your threads. That's all in there. Okay. Very good. One thing I do say though is that when you are buying these brushes, feel them. Make sure that they're soft. Okay. You don't really want to put a brush in there that's very harsh and wiry. Okay. Because you don't want to damage your machine. You want to make sure that you get something that is really, really soft so that you can go in there and actually just go ahead and just clean. Okay. Now, another thing that I really want to share with you guys, and I forgot to bring it out, but let me pick it up right now because I have so many of them. Okay, is this is a safety thing. Okay, and is if you've watched some of my videos in the past, you guys have heard me say watch those fingers. Okay, we only get 10 fingers in life. Okay, so if you lose a finger, they don't grow back. Okay, so you just end up with 9 fingers or 8 or 7 or how many you're willing to sacrifice. One of the things that I've always see people do is when they are embroidering, while the machine is turned on, they sometimes put their hands in there because they want to hold down the fabric or they want to hold down the water soluble topper or something. Okay, please be very, very careful. Okay, these machines don't know when your fingers are in the way. That needle is going to keep going up and down, and trust me, they come down with a lot of force. So your nail is not going to stop that needle from going through it, okay, and coming out on the other side of your finger. All right. So one of the things that I tell people is get creative. Get some chopsticks. Okay, you can get these from your local restaurant or just plain sticks or anything. Get a pen, a pencil, or something, anything. Okay, and use this to go ahead and hold down the fabric and save those fingers. I cannot tell you how many times I've even used these and I've accidentally had the needle hit the stick. Okay, and what goes through my mind was, whew, that could have been my finger. So save those fingers, do yourself a favor, and get yourself some sticks. Okay, it doesn't have to be chopsticks. Like I said, it could be a pen, a paper, whatever. Look, hey, if you want, take 2 Sharpies. Just make sure you have the tops on them and use this to smooth out whatever it is that you're trying to smooth that's underneath that needle. Don't use your fingers. If you use your fingers, you can really get into an accident, and believe me, you will not be a happy camper. That is for sure. Okay. So, also, let's talk about hooping, okay? Now, as you guys can see behind me, I have 2 hooping stations. This is the one that I use whenever I am using my single needle machine. It's called a Hoop Master Home Station. Really, really useful. It really works. It's great. I really like it. It makes things a lot easier. I actually have a video on the video where I actually review this in depth. And I know a couple of people that have reached out to me and got it, and they truly, truly love it. However, it is on the pricey side, okay? So I have a little bit of an alternative that I was able to explore. It's not exactly the same thing, but it's something that you might be able to work with just until you can save those little pennies or dimes or dollars to get this, okay? Now, I went to the dollar store, okay? Well, no, not the dollar store, sorry. Walmart, and I was able to get this material. Now, what this is like, this is kind of like stuff that you put on your shelf so that things don't slip, but this is kind of like for grip, right? I was looking at this and I said, shoot, I can take this and I can tape it down to my cutting table. Then what I can do is I can take my hoop and I can place it on top of it, and this will help and prevent my hoop from sliding when I'm trying to put the stabilizer on it. So this is just another great idea. Just thought something, something that I thought about. So something that could kind of help, if you can't really fork up for one of these, okay? Because I'm always, I am very money conscientious and budget conscientious, okay? Everybody's got different size pocketbooks and stuff. So I always like to make sure that I can try to reach out to as many people as I can to help them with whatever budget they have, okay? So with this, we have the Mighty Hoop for the multi-needle station. Now, these are pretty expensive as well, okay? But I will tell you, this is a tool that I use every single day whenever I am hooping something for my multi-needle machine, okay? It is a little bit on the pricey side, but I will tell you, because I have used it every single day, I honestly feel that it is worth every single dollar that has spent on it, okay? What I was able to do is I was able to take on a job, which the job paid me like $550, because it was like a $550 job that I got. I was able to take that money and purchase this right off the bat. Okay, so it does kind of come in time. It does kind of make up for itself. So it's pretty good. And excuse me, just 1 minute. I got to go to do something real quick. Okay. 5 minutes, or not even 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I'll be right back because I want to show you something. Okay, hold on. Okay, couldn't find it. Sorry about that, guys. Shoot, where is it? I said here. All right, I will find it. Okay, all right. Oh, all right, it's here. Okay, now that we're talking about hooping, okay, and I'm sorry I had to like take off and come back. Let's talk about this thing, okay? This is, to me, the greatest thing that I found when it comes to embroidering hats, okay? One of the things is, when I first started to embroider and I got my flatbed machine, and for those that are just starting out, this is really great. Now, I bought this off of Etsy. I don't know if they're selling it anymore, but I wanted you guys to get an idea, and I do have videos on how I use this. This is to embroider the hats, okay, using sticky stabilizer. I put the sticky stabilizer on the back. I like the material because it's really strong. And then what I do is, this has like a lid right here where you go ahead. Oh, good. I have a hat here. I thought I didn't have a hat. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, see how I put the lid right in here? Okay, it's on this right here. Okay, and then what you do is you just tighten this up, and then you just flatten. Okay, you would flatten this and you would put this in your embroidery machine. Now, this actually fits inside your 5x7 hoop, okay, which is this hoop right here. And you just would remove the top part, okay, and you would actually, let me take this out so you can see. This would fit right inside of the hoop, okay. See how you take it out and then you just put it right in, okay. And then what you do is you just tighten it up in here, and then you just put your sticky stabilizer and your hat right in here. You stick this right into the machine, and then you are good to go. This was a really great buy, okay. I did a video on how to use this. I also did a video on one other one that I purchased that looked, I kind of purchased it and returned it because I really didn't need it. I just wanted to show it to you guys as an alternative if you couldn't get your hands on one of these, okay. And I wanted to do a comparison and stuff like that. Actually, I do favor this one a lot better. I found that when I bought the other one off of Amazon, I felt it was like a little bit bulky, a little bit heavier. In a way, it could be good, because it is a little heavier. But to be honest, I just felt it was a little bit like too much, right? I kind of figured this was easy. This is just as sturdy and good quality. And what I really like is that it's small, compact, lightweight, and it was just, to me, a lot easier to use. Okay. So I really do like this one. So yeah, so when it comes to hoops, hooping a hat, I really, really liked my hat hoop on there. Mellow. Oh, okay. I wanted to make sure he wasn't getting in trouble. Sorry. Okay, so another thing. Okay, all right. Oh, a thread stand. Okay, so okay, a thread stand. Let's talk about this. And I'm going to move this out of the way so that you guys can see my machine behind me. Because as you can see right here, I have my SE 1900 and I have it actually on a riser, okay? That is what this red thing is that you see behind me, okay? Now, I did a video on where I actually took a tote bag and I embroidered it using that riser, okay? Now, I have to tell you, when I first bought the riser, I was like super excited and I was like, this is a game changer. Love it, love it, love it. But then I found that I really didn't use it much, right? So then I started thinking to myself, okay, then maybe this really wasn't like worth the money. However, though, okay, so let's fast forward. I got this tote bag from a customer. All she wanted was for me to put the initials on it. Would you believe that tote bag did not fit my multi-needle machine? The arms of the multi-needle machine were not wide enough, and the bottom of the tote bag was hard. It was not one of those that bent or anything like that. So I was kind of like in a pickle, right? So I was like, how am I going to embroider this bag without damaging it? So that's when I remembered I have my riser. So I said, let me give it a shot. So as you guys could see in the video, when I did that tote bag, that riser, it worked great. And I was able to really utilize that and stuff. And I thought it was just fantastic. And I was like, that is like so mega cool. I was like, okay, that works. So I'm really glad that I went and I spent the extra money on it, honestly, because it helped me out in that situation. And if that lady or any other person came to me with ever that type of a bag again, I wouldn't hesitate. I would know exactly how I could go ahead and embroider it. So that riser to me was actually worth every penny. And I'm really glad, because at one time I was even thinking about, should I just sell it, get rid of it or something like that? So glad that I didn't, because it actually served its purpose and it worked great. So that if you have a single needle machine, and I'm not saying you have to have it, but if you are planning on embroidering big tote bags and stuff like that, I would kind of consider that because it might make the process a lot easier for you. Okay, so if you were to see that video that I had where I actually took that and I embroidered it, you would have saw how flawless it was, and it was not a bag that I was able to afford to make a mistake on, because the type of fabric that was on that bag, it was not like clothes fabric. Okay, it was one of those types of materials that once you pierce a hole in it, you were done. Okay, so I couldn't afford any mistakes, but let me tell you, it just embroidered like butter. The customer was happy, I was happy, and I was so glad that I had my riser. So that was something that I was just like, awesome. Okay, another thing that I highly recommend that people have, okay, is, you guys know, when you spend all this money on embroidery machines, whether you have a single needle or a flatbed machine, you're going to require maintenance. Okay, you really truly need to. Okay, first of all, you spend a lot of money on that machine. It's almost sometimes like buying a car. And when you are driving a car, if you have a gas car, you have to have maintenance on it, right? You got to change the oil and all that kind of stuff. Even if you have an electric car, you don't have that much maintenance on it. But you know what? You might have to change a light bulb on your headlights and stuff like that too. Okay, so one of the things that's really important when it comes to your machines is maintenance. And I actually have my machines maintained every year. Okay, I do have a technician that comes over to my home on an annual basis, and what he does is he actually spends the whole day here. Okay, because I have so many machines. He doesn't just run the maintenance on my 3 multi-needle machines. He also does it on my Juki, and he also does it on my SC 1900. Now, one of the things that's really important is that I always document any kind of hiccups that any of my machines have throughout the annual year. Okay, when you are embroidering, sometimes you can end up having some kind of issue with your machine, and sometimes it's easy for you to forget what machine had the problem, what was the needle, what were you doing, what was the speed, what type of thread you were using, all those little small details of what the circumstance was where that actual item happened, whether you keep getting a wiper error or anything like that, you can easily forget. Okay, so usually what I like to do is I like to document any type of unusual behavior that any machine that I have has. Okay, so what I highly recommend that you guys do, get yourself a notebook. Now, this is a notebook that I use. It was gifted to me. Okay, this is just a notebook cover. Okay, but what it actually really is, it's just a little composition notebook. You can get these from the dollar store, and if you don't want to get like a little one like this, just keep a notepad or something around your sewing room. Okay, use that. And one of the things that I do is I document the date. I write down the machine that I had the issue with, and I put a little brief summary of what was the issue. Okay, and I also include details as to what was the needle size, what was the weight of the thread, what was I embroidering on? Was it fabric? Was it cotton fabric? Was it vinyl? Was I doing a patch? What kind of design? Was it dense? Was it stretch? And I like to write all that detail down. And then when Justin comes and he maintains all of my machines, what I usually do is I just hand the notebook over to him, and he already knows how I kind of do things. So he'll go through my notebook and he'll read the little summaries so that he'll know that on Boricua number 1, I had wiper issues on needle number 6. Okay, and then he'll look at the sensors to make sure that there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because what happens is, as the year goes by, sometimes you're working on so many orders, you're doing so many things, you're not really going to remember every little thing that has happened that might be a concern, and the technician can catch up. Because one of the things they first ask you when they look at your machine is, okay, what's up, what happened to it, right? Sometimes you may not remember that you were getting these errors at one time, or or that needle something happened, right? You're not going to remember all the details. So to me, this is a great way for you to document the history of your machine, okay, so that when you take this to the technician, they know exactly what kind of behavior your machine was going through, and it makes it a lot easier for them to help you maintain. Because sometimes it could be that you need a part that needs to be replaced, or maybe you need a certain section of that machine to be oiled a little more than usual, or or something, right? Or they need to take the cover off, and maybe you have a lot of lint in there that's causing a lot of squeaking or noise or whatever. So perfect way to document your maintenance. Okay, so that is something that I do that is pretty neat, and something that I always like to share with people. All right, let me see. Okay, now let me see. I'm looking around really quick to see. Okay, yes, let's talk a little bit about the stabilizers. Okay, now a lot of times you have to spend well, a lot of times, not all, kind of always, right? We're always spending money on stabilizers. Okay, stabilizers can get really friggin' pricey, okay, especially when you are ordering those that are pre-cut. Okay, so one of the things that I kind of like to do to save money is I like to buy my stabilizer in rolls. Okay, and then what I do is I go ahead and I pre-cut them myself. Now, some people can argue with me and come out and say, well, Jeanette, I mean, really, if you really think about it, the cost of a roll isn't really that much of a difference than getting them pre-cut. And I got that, all right, but you know what? $1 in my pocket is $1 in my pocket. Okay, so I am pretty frugal. Okay, so I usually like to cut my own, and at the same time, one of the things that I like to do also is I kind of, it's like you get all these different sizes, right? Like, so sometimes I like to use the 8x8, so I will buy something like this, right? And of course, this is like 12 inches, so I will cut 8, and then this part I have is 4 inches. So the 4-inch strip that I have on the top, well, guess what? I use that as my hat stabilizer. Okay, so when I am embroidering my hats on my multi-needle machine, I already cut my 4-inch stabilizer on the top, and then these right here, my 8.5 by 8.5, is what I use for my towels and stuff. So I have them at the bottom. But this is the cutaway, and usually I use these for like logos and stuff from clothing. So a lot of times, the embroidery that I do on clothing usually is not big. Okay, I don't like doing huge designs on clothes and stuff like that, for the simple fact that sometimes, a lot of times, when you talk to customers and they want those type of designs, they don't know how to really care for them, right? So what happens is they will go ahead and they will wash them, and then they'll take them and they'll throw them in the dryer, and then when it comes out of the dryer, they're all like crunched up. Okay, which is one of the reasons why I always, when I do type of embroidery, I like to give people care cards, care instruction cards. That way they know exactly how they should be caring for their embroidery. Okay, sometimes because I will tell you, if you don't tell customers how to care for the embroidery, when they pick up the item, they're happy, they're glowing, they're smiling from ear to ear. Then the day they wash it and they dry it, then they're like pissed off, and they're going to be blaming you because this item doesn't look as new as they used to, because they didn't care for it correctly. So anyway, but yeah, so okay, so the another thing that I want to talk to you guys about, hoops. Okay, I just saw it and I forgot to mention them. Okay, a lot of times, we have these single needle machines, right, that have the 5x7 hoop, right? Well, you can actually get a multi-positional hoop. That was a mouthful. Okay, a multi-positional hoop to help you make the design a little bit longer. Now, in order for you to use these, though, you do have to have embroidery software, because what it actually is doing, okay, is it's taking your design and it's cutting it in half, and it's saving it in 2 files. Okay, like 2 5x7 files. So and it does a top and a bottom, right? So, and it'll fit in a 5x12 hoop. This is a 5x12 Here's my other one. I don't want to lose the pieces of my hoops. This is a 5x12 hoop, and this is what I actually use with my Brother SC1900. It works really, really, really good, okay? However, one of the things that I do tell people is to make sure before you actually embroider on your products, okay? And that goes with any machine, okay? Always test your designs to make sure that they're going to embroider exactly the way you want them to. Because what ends up happening is sometimes if you can have a design, you think it's going to be great, you put it on your product, and then it's either misaligned or something's going off, and then next thing you know, you're going to be pissed off because you just lost the blank, okay? Or you messed up the bag that you customer bag or something like that. You don't want to do that. So, but this is the 5x12 hoop. This is really neat, okay? It's really great if you want to embroider like t-shirts and stuff like that, or jackets and stuff. It's really, really handy, and it's one way for you to make big designs on a inexpensive. Well, it's not really inexpensive, because think about it. The SC1900 cost me $1,000. Last time I checked, the machines are like $1,500, I think now, something like that. They're not cheap, okay? So for your 5x7, you're not stuck with 5x7. If you have embroidery software that allows you to do, to select save files with a multi-positional hoop, this is what you go for. However, though, there's another multi-positional hoop that I love too, and I want to show you this one as well. This is an actual magnetic multi-positional hoop, and this is a 5x12, and there is a reason why I love this one. The reason why I love it, and I'm going to show you up close. As you can see, look how thin this is, okay? What I love about this is what I use when I am trying to embroider bath towels on my SC1900. Bath towels can be very, very thick, okay? So sometimes putting a bath towel with this, because if you look at it, look at the size, you see how it is, and I'm going to compare it with this. See how different? Okay, one is a lot thicker and the other one is a lot thinner, okay? Now, bath towels, especially the really good quality ones, are pretty thick, right? So it's going to be a little bit difficult to get it underneath the needle when you're doing embroidery. So it's really important also when you're using a multi-needle, a repositional hoop. Okay, when you are doing this and you're floating, it's really important that you don't shift your fabric, because once you shift that fabric, you kind of misaligned it, and then you can really screw it up. But this is really great for the bath towels. Because it is so super thin, you have that extra space between the hoop itself and underneath the needle. So it makes it really easy for you to slide that underneath the needle on your embroidery machine, and it gives you that extra space, so that way you're not struggling in trying to get the bath towel underneath. Okay, so these are really good. Now I'm gonna tell you guys, these things are not in any way inexpensive. You guys have watched me before, know that I always say embroidery is not something for that's a cheap hobby. It really truly isn't. It's a very expensive thing to do. There's just so much cost to it. Sometimes a lot of people have the perception that I'm just going to go ahead and just buy an embroidery machine and it's going to be great, right? But then what they end up finding out slowly as time goes on, that buying an embroidery machine is just really the tip of the iceberg. Okay, once you get an embroidery machine, there are a lot of supplies that you have to buy to do embroidery. And then sometimes you can't use the same supplies for every project, okay? Because it depends on so many different factors and stuff. There's a lot of work that goes into embroidery prior to you even turning that machine on. And there's a lot of things, different weights of thread, different sizes of needles, different types of stabilizers, because you have different types of fabric, and even different types of thread, of embroidery thread. You have metallic, you have polygon, you got rayon, you have the shiny thread, you got the the matted thread. There's so many different colors too. It's just so much that's involved in the process that a lot of times what happens is people just really don't understand it. And then once sometimes, I feel unfortunately that sometimes, people start to kind of get into it. And then when they find out that there is just so much more involvement into it, not just, learning wise, but also financial, that they're quickly, before you know it, they're like, this is not something I can sustain or do. So, that you end up watching them just sell their machine and stuff like that. So let me see. I'm going to do a quick browse to my machine, my thing here. Let's see. Oh, I did touch on scissors. And the other thing too, just to talk a little bit about the scissors, there's so many different scissors out there. And I think I did tell you that sometimes you get what you get, right? Of what you pay for, right? You buy cheap scissors, you're going to get scissors that are going to get dull really, really quickly. I have had a couple of brands that I really like, but like I said, they can get kind of pricey. Now, something just caught my eye. Nope, that's frayed check. But I just thought something. Okay, here it is. All right, now, sometimes what happens when you are embroidering, sometimes a lot of people get thread that starts to shred, okay? It starts to get all caught up and stuff like that. This is something that I truly love, okay? I use it whenever I have thread that looks like it seems to be dried up and it's shredding a lot, okay? If you have changed your needle and you find that the thread is still shredding, then what I use is this. This is called Sewer's Aid. I'm trying to see if I can get, this is called Sewer's Aid, okay? This is really neat. All you need is one bottle. It goes a long way. The way you use this is you would just take this, okay? Take your thread, all right? And then all you have to do is just squeeze one drop and just go like this down. That's all it is. Just squeeze one drop down. You don't have to soak it or anything. What's going to happen is as the machine starts to pull the thread is going to start going up and it's going to get that moisture, that little line that you put in there, okay? It's going to moist the thread and then it's going to make it a lot easier. And you're going to notice that your thread is no longer shredding, okay? It works, okay? It was something that I saw somebody do and I was like, oh, what the heck is that? And they were like, oh, it's Sewer's Aid. And I was like, oh, Sewer's Aid. So I went and I got a bottle and I started to, whenever I saw that my thread was shredding a lot and everything like that, I would just take that and I would just do a little line real quick and everything. And I would just, let it sit for just a couple of seconds and stuff, turn the machine on. And next thing you know, voila, stop. So I was just like, oh my God. So I guess this is like a machine embroidery secret that you don't hear a lot of people talk about. So I was just like, wow. So this was pretty neat. Okay. So yeah, I love that a lot. Let me see. I'm looking to see what else I use. This is another trick also that I use that I have this. See, I'm going through all my stash now. Okay. One of the things that I use sometimes is sports wrap. This is just little tape, medical tape, right? My stepson, he was really heavy into sports, right? So he always ended up with his tape. But what I did was I actually took one from him. And then what I did was I used this and I wrap it around my hoop. So now the way that I wrap it, show it to you, is before I actually hoop a garment. Let's say I'm hooping something in here, right? What I would do is I would take this tape and I would wrap it around the bottom of the hoop, like do like a little piece here and a little piece here, a little piece here, around, right? Just with the tape. The reason why I would do that is because it helps to prevent the fabric from shifting, okay? And it worked. I actually saw someone do that, and I was like, oh. And then when I saw that Justin had this, I was like, so I just took it. I was like, you don't need that anymore. You're not playing sports anymore. So I just took it, and then next thing you know, voila. I mean, it was just like if you have like a t-shirt or something like that, that's kind of like that stretch, fabric that stretches and stuff like that. You could put this, just try it. You could just put this on the edges and stuff. And that way, when you actually hoop it in here, the fabric is not going to shift. You're not going to see any pull or anything like that. So it should be nice and stuff. So this really does help a lot. It does work. I've seen people do it. I did it myself and it actually worked and stuff. And yeah, but since I got my multi-tool machine, so now what I do is I usually snap it on my multi-tool machines and stuff. All right, so let's talk about the hoops also for the multi-needle machine, because I did talk a little bit about the ones for the single needle machines. If you guys watch my videos, you guys know I love my Mighty hoops, okay? I love them to death. I own several of them. They are not cheap at all, okay? But they are pretty inexpensive. I mean, they're not expensive, not inexpensive. They're pretty expensive, okay? But one of the things that I really love, and this is something that that I wasn't a fan for at first, but when I went to embroider my sweatshirt for Mother's Day, where I had put mom on the corner and then I wanted to embroider my sleeve, I found this like super helpful. Okay, hold on. Let me get this real quick so you guys can see. All right. So these are my sleeve Mighty hoops. Okay. Now someone had texted me before about these because they do kind of look a little funky. They look a little different from the other kind of hoops that you get. Okay. The other sizes, usually you get these brackets on the side and they just come out straight, right? Now these come at a little bit of an angle. Okay. As you can see, it has an angle right here and an angle right here. So she was kind of like, is it supposed to look like that? Yes, it's supposed to look like that. Okay, so you didn't get anything broken and stuff like that. This is how it's supposed to look. Now, one of the things that I'm glad I got it, okay, because at first, sometimes you get stuff and you're like, do I really need that? Well, in this situation, yeah, you need it, okay? This is the side where I would go ahead and I would put my cutaway stabilizer on. Okay, this is called a backing. Okay, the only thing with this, and you got to be careful, is you have to make sure that you take it off before you put it on the machine. This could damage your machine. Okay, so seriously, you got to remember that. Okay, there have been a couple of times when I forgot and I had to like take it off the machine and then remove it and then put it back on the machine. What I really love about this, this right here, okay, is if you put your stabilizer right on it, okay, you take this and then you put this between it and the stabilizer, and it's going to hold your stabilizer in place. Let me just make believe this is stabilizer. Oh, no, not that. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Because I want to show you guys, okay? Let's say I have this, right? Okay. Now I'm going to take this. Now I'm going to put this right on it, okay? You guys can see? Yeah, you can see. So I'm just going to press it on. This I know I'm doing it sloppy, but I just want to show you the concept. All right, hold on. Okay. Whee! All right, so, all right. I got my hoop. I got my stabilizer. Put it on here. Put this. And then you just push it down. Hold on. There you go. All right. I'm kind of doing it sloppy, but all right. So what it is it actually holds your stabilizer in place, right? And then when I go and I take this and I put it inside the sleeve, my stabilizer is not going to go all over the place, okay? Then once I have this, I can take my once I have it inside the sleeve the way I want it, I can just take this snap in my shirt. Okay, just make believe the shirt's in there. But then I have to put my hand inside the sleeve, and then I can just pop out this port right here. So you take it out. And then as you can see, it's easy. Okay. Now, the reason why this is so helpful is because if you're trying to put the stabilizer inside the sleeve, then what's going to happen is the stabilizer is going to shift all over inside that shirt. And it's going to be really hard for you to actually get that straight for you to go ahead and snap that hoop in. Okay. So for, they do have these backings for all the other sizes, but I will tell you, this is actually my fave. Okay. Because whenever I am embroidering a sleeve, this backing really does help me to make sure that the stabilizer is intact. So it is like so super helpful. I'm so glad I spent the extra money on this. This was a win-win. And I wasn't planning on making any of the shirts for mom with the sleeves. I did make one for a girlfriend as a gift. But a friend of mine asked me to make a couple for his wife and family members and stuff. So I was, because he was asking me, are you going to do them for Mother's Day? And I was kind of like, no. And the reason why I don't usually do it is because I'm not really much of a clothes person. I don't want to buy a whole bunch of clothes and have different sizes and colors and everything all over my home. Okay. So when it comes to clothes, I'll do it, but it's not something that I like to do because I'm not really a fan of carrying over inventory like that. So, I don't have the space. It's not something that I'm really passionate about. I'll do it. It's just not a thing that I really want to do to sell. Right. So I'm really more of a dinner napkin, kitchen towel type of girl. Love doing those designs. That's more my thing, say. So yeah, so I think I covered a lot of stuff that are actually my fave, different tools and stuff like that I use. These are stuff that you can use for your multi-needle, your flatbeds. Just wanted to give you guys a little summary of a lot of the stuff that sometimes you see me use in some of my videos and stuff, and ideas that maybe you guys can use to help. So it is an hour. So I'm going to now go through the chat and see if you guys have any ideas of your own, of things that you guys have used. And I'm going to try to clean this up a little bit here, because I like to be very, very organized. And talk about organization. I mean, if you guys have a Michael's Bayou, these rolling carts, fabulous. I'm telling you, they're worth the money. I would just say get them when they're on sale. If you are military, they have military discount. If you are a teacher, they have teacher discount. I think they might have first responders discount as well and stuff. Make sure if you go to Joann's has discounts as well also. So you want to make sure that you have them. I'm going to put stuff right where they're supposed to be. As you guys know, I am a neat freak when it comes to my sewing room. Okay, that is for sure. I like my sewing room to be really super clean. I like it to be neat because it gives me a good feeling when I am working and stuff. And at the same time, too, one of the things that I always say also is when you are running an embroidery business, it's really important that your space is nice, neat, and clean, because when you have customers that come visit you, and if they are visiting your space, you want to make sure that they see a nice, clean space, because you got to remember that represents you, and it's also going to give them a little indication of how you're going to care for their items. Okay, especially if you're like me, where I don't like to carry inventory. So usually what I like to do is I will share with the customer where they can purchase their blanks at a very good economical price. So that way, all I have to do is just charge them for the actual embroidery service. I would prefer to do that I don't want to get in the market of going out and just buying a whole bunch of stuff and then, having to carry all the shirts and everything like that. I prefer them buy it because, think about it. A lot of people are very picky, especially about clothes and certain things like texture, the way they fit. Some people want it fitted, some people want it boxed, some people like things super soft, some people like them to feel a certain way. I don't want to get all into that. I really don't. It's not my thing. I'm like, no, I usually just want to focus on the embroidery and what they want me to embroider. That's what I prefer to focus on. So yeah, so that's usually what I like to do. And not only that, it makes it really easy for me because that way I don't even have to think about adding the price of the actual shirt when I do the embroidery. Okay. All I'm doing is I'm pricing the service. That's what I like to do. So they're paying for my time and they're paying for the thread and all the supplies and everything like that. That's how I like to run my stuff. So a lot of times when people come to me and they don't have their blanks, I will refer them to where they can get their blanks. And actually, I find also that sometimes when I do that, customers actually like that because they feel like, oh my gosh, she's helping me save money. You know, because a lot of times what happens is I'll have customers that they'll go, oh, I'm going to go to Macy's or I'm going to go to Target or these other stores, right? And I'm like, no, 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 don't pay retail. And I tell them, hey, why don't because you have a business, right? So you have a business license. Go to this place. They're wholesalers. They have lots of brands, different types of shirts and everything like that, and you get it at a very good price. And at the same time, with that money that you save, you can pay me. Okay, so that's how I kind of like do things. But anyway, oh, okay. So let's see. I think did I lose you guys? Where are you? Oh, there you go. Okay, sorry guys. I hit a button and I think I'm not sure if you guys were still able to see me or not. But I hit a button and stuff like that. So I am going to go down the chat and say hi to you guys. And also, I do want to let you know we're going to be doing Christmas in July. We're going to be doing it very soon. I am going to be working this weekend on setting up the link to register for the Christmas of July gift exchange. More information about that is going to be in a Facebook group. So that way, and the link to register is going to be in the Facebook group as well. Okay, so the rule. So I am going to be working on that this weekend so that we could get that ball rolling for that event. Okay, so just a little quick announcement, stuff like that. So let me go down and say hi. And by the way, also, Karen, yes, it is Mother's Day this Sunday. So all the mothers out there, I hope you guys have a great Mother's Day weekend because you should be treated like a queen this whole weekend. As a matter of fact, you should be treated like a queen every day. Okay, so anyway, but enjoy your weekend and stuff because I know I'm going to be enjoying mine. I'm pretty excited because I know my son is on his way home. He's going to be coming here. And it's kind of funny because I kind of told him what I want for Mother's Day is I want him to take his car to go get inspected and to get the ammunitions done so we could get that car registered. So that's my Mother's Day gift. Because he's young and you know how the youngers are. But yeah, so I'm pretty excited because he's coming home from Richmond today, and he's going to be spending the weekend with me. So it's going to be pretty cool to have him around and stuff like that. Maybe I'll put him in front of an embroidery machine and have him working and stuff. So let me go down there. Hey, Karen, how are you? Hey, Marlene, how you doing? Arrived this morning from my cruise. Oh my God, yeah, and already working on an order. Bath towels. Closing on a house on Monday, moving, but still excited. Should be there, not missing my Fridays. Oh, Marlene, I hope you had a great time on that cruise and stuff. I have not taken a cruise. I haven't taken a vacation in a while. I'm gonna have to talk to Fred about that. We're gonna have to do something. Hey, Angela and Stitches, how are you? Hey, Kim, how are you doing? Hey Jackie, how are you? Hey Faith, I see Christina, Jay, Robin, Tara, how are you? Um, hey Jenny, how are you? Oh, your hair looks lovely. Oh, thank you. Yep, my husband said the same thing today. He was like, "Oh, you did your hair today." I said, "Yeah, took that the high iron, and straightened my hair today." Hey baby giant, hey Nikita, how are you? I see Cindy, Iris, hey Memory Bears, how are you doing? Tammy Lady, I see Miss Miller in the house, and Renee and Sassy. Um, hey Judy, hey Crafty Puerto Rican, how you doing? Um, let's see. Hey Miss Karen G, how are you? Looks like she likes one of my tips. Hey Gail, how are you? Okay, let's see. All right, here's some questions. Where can I find a roll of double-sided tape that size? I actually got, if you are referring to the one that I have, which I think you are, Baby Giant, I actually got this off of Amazon. I do have a link to this in my Amazon storefront. This is really, really good. Now, one thing I will say about this is strong. Okay, this is really, really, really strong. So if you are looking to use this the way I use it for bags, and I also sometimes do laptop sleeves and stuff like that, awesome. Awesome. It will not let the bag shift. So I am telling you, this is really, really, really good. Let's see. Hey Judy, how you doing? Oh, looks like Judy got a place from Wallach. Yeah, but it's one thing though, make sure that you're getting tape that, that kind of suits the need that you're using it for, right? Because I have other double-sided tape too. Okay, like before I knew that I could print the snowman with Embrilliance, I was actually taking double-sided tape and putting it in the back of the snowman sticker to try to preserve my stickers, because I was like, God, I gotta buy new stickers, okay? Because those things can get kind of pricey. And I was using double-sided tape on that. But now that I know that I don't even have to do that anymore, I could just print the template with the snowman sticker. I'm like, that's awesome. Okay, so just make sure that you, when you getting the double-sided tape, that you check how strong they are, right? The type of adhesive. Okay, some of it is light, some of it's medium, some of it's heavy. You want to make sure that you have one that's really going to work well for what it is that you're trying to do. Hey Becky, how are you? And as always, Becky, use it every day. But you guys don't know, my buddy, she was my Esther last year, and this is what I got from her, and I use it every single day. This is my machine embroidery bag. I have all the essentials that I use all the time. I have it in here in my little bag, and I have it right on top. I store this right on top of my little cart when I'm embroidering. It's right here. And then when I'm not embroidering, I take it and I like to hang it right there. Becky, I will always remember you for this bag. Always, always. Let's see. Everybody saying hi to each other. Angela and Stitches says that she always prints out her template and use the crosshairs to line up the design. I do the same thing. I am telling you, and you know what's really funny too, Angela? Sometimes, I will say there have been times when sometimes I'm printing out the template when I'm doing the embroidery. Sometimes what goes through my mind is I'm like, I'm wasting a lot of paper, ink, stuff like that. But I gotta be honest with you guys, it does make a difference when you print it out and you actually place it on your garment of where you want it to be, because it's more precise that way. It really truly is. There have been times when I got, not lazy, but really like frugal, super frugal. Okay. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to print it out, whatever. And then next thing you know, I regret it. I regret it because I'm like, it's a little bit of crooked and stuff like that. And then I'm like, why did I not take that extra 2 minutes and print it out and cut it up and place it, and stuff. But I really find those templates actually really do help you a lot with the with the placement when you're doing embroidery. Okay, because I'm telling you, there is just so much that's involved before you hit that start button. There is so much preparation, so much thought that has to go through the process. And a lot of times, if you have little tools to help you make things a little bit faster, more accurate, I would say go for it. Don't skip those steps, or those or skip using those tools, because they really are there for a reason and stuff. And sometimes when I skip them, I regret it. I'm kind of like, I mean, the other person may not know that in their mind they're probably like, oh, it looks great, but to me, what perfection is supposed to look like. Okay, and we are our worst critics. We truly are, because we will criticize the littlest thing, but other people would be like, oh, I love it, because they don't do this every day, so they don't know how perfect it should have been. We could tell if we skipped a stitch. We could tell if it's just misaligned us a little bit, or we could tell if the embroidery, the tension was just not right, or if we didn't use the right weight, thread weight, or needle, size needle and stuff like that. We know that from experience. Just by looking at designs, you can tell and stuff. But yeah, but I actually, I now I got into the habit where I print out my templates all the time, because I really want to see exactly where it's going to go. I kind of, it's something that you learn the hard way sometimes. Hey, Robin, how are you? Hey, Denise Venezuela, how are you? Hey, Peggy, how are you? Oh, Judy. Judy said, I saw a tip from a lady this week where her husband put up gutters on the wall. Yeah, like your house, for her to store all her rolls of ribbon. Look really nice. There you go. There's so many different hacks and different ways you can do things. There really is. That's a pretty neat idea too. And stuff. That's maybe something that Nancy could do and stuff, because I know my sister has like a lot of ribbons and stuff like that. She's big on the ribbons too and everything. It would be wonderful if digitizers would eliminate jump stitches in their designs. It would make things so much easier for us. Angela, I totally agree with you. That is one of the things that I really, sometimes I understand the jump stitches. Okay, if you have a machine that doesn't cut jump stitches, right, like the SC1900 doesn't cut it. Okay, and so I understand in those situations you may need that jump stitch, right? But then you have machines that do cut the jump stitches, and but sometimes they make those jump stitches permanent, so I have to pull out those slips all the time. And yeah, I agree with you, because it does take time to cut the jump stitches. It really does. You have to stop the machine, and sometimes it is a pain. It is a pain. I understand why they're there sometimes, but sometimes I feel like sometimes some of the jump stitches are pretty unnecessary. So it's kind of like bleh, but they're there. I have a pair of them and they are very sharp. Yeah, I don't know if you were referring to Karen. I'm going to tell you guys something too. These scissors that I have right here, I wanted to cut a piece of thread the other day, right? And all I did was hold the thread up, and I took this scissor and I went to cut it. When I cut it, all I did was I bumped it up to my finger. Okay, all I did was purely just a bump. Okay, and this is so sharp that I didn't even feel it. And as soon as it hit my finger, I had a slice. And when I saw that, and then I saw how deep that cut was, and how, I was bleeding a lot, and I was like, oh my God. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God, what went through my mind was how dangerous these scissors can be if you don't handle them correctly. Because what went through my mind was, oh, what if one day I'm just holding them out like this and then Mello just comes running into the room and runs into them? I mean, this would cut into him like butter if it went through my finger the way it did, okay? Or if somebody ran into these scissors. I mean, we're talking like I would be in jail for murder or something, you know? So when I saw that, um, Karen, I totally agree. I mean, super sharp, but what went through my mind was safety. So I was just like, oh my god. So that's why I'm so glad I keep these type of scissors up on the wall over there. And every time I use them, they go right back up on the wall. And I will say, because I was able to nip my finger so easily, okay, with these scissors, now whenever I have to pull them out, I always don't allow anyone in the room with me, because I'm always afraid of an accident. What if you drop the scissor? It could go through someone's foot. Or if the dog is behind, is underneath me and stuff, because Mello's always next to me. Okay. It's like he is one that, if he's not with dad, he's with mom. So I do not want an accident to ever happen. So even if I have to pull out one of these sharp scissors, or even if I have to pull out the Karen Blakely scissors, because these are, I don't know if you guys can see, look at how pointy these things are. I mean, they are like, it's really, it's, I mean, I get scared, So now I'm like, okay, so when it comes to that, and then look, even the embroidery scissor, I mean, look at the thinness of this. See? I mean, they're great. I mean, they are. I mean, these are like super. I could even feel the sharpness on it. Super great in cutting those little stitches and stuff like that. But what goes through my mind is the accidents that can occur. So now, because of what happened, it's like whenever I have to pull out one of these scissors, I make sure that Mello is not in the room, because I could accidentally drop it or stuff. And I do that similar also when I am changing the needles on my multi-needle machines. Sometimes you could have a needle that accidentally, even though I do put like a piece of paper underneath, so that when the needle falls, it falls on the piece of paper. Sometimes it'll slip from the paper and it'll go on the floor. So one of the things that I always do is, when I am changing out my needles, he gets a little pissed off, but I will close the door and I leave him outside, and I will not allow him to come into the room until all my needles are changed, because I am actually changing 26 needles, okay? Because I have one 6-needle machine and I have two 10-needle machines. So that's 26 needles that I'm changing on a weekly basis, okay? And depending on the orders that I get, sometimes if I have a lot of orders, I'm changing the needles twice a week. So whenever I do that, I always close the door and I always make sure I'm here alone, so that if a needle drops on the floor, then I can look for it, and I always make sure I find it. Okay. And if I don't find it, then he's not going to come in here until I do find it. And I will say, I thank God for the mighty hoops, because I'll take a mighty hoop and I'll sometimes drag it a little bit on the floor until I hear it, because, mighty hoops are magnetic. So sometimes what'll happen is the needle, you may not see it, but you can kind of like, if I put it on the floor, it'll pick it up for me and stuff. So I kind of use the mighty hoops to help a little bit with that. So yeah, but safety is so important. These scissors they're very, very dangerous. That is one thing for sure. It's like you have to be really, really conscientious of safety when it comes to that. Yeah, I didn't mean to get into a rant rage about that, but the thing is, those scissors are, you got to be careful, especially if you have grandkids and stuff like that. Sometimes they're running around and they really don't realize, and you don't want to hurt yourself or them and stuff. So, hey, Leslie. Hi, Debbie. Hey, Miss Holmes, how you doing? Um, oh, okay. Angela says her favorite rotary color is from Quilter Select. Such a good rotary color, very well made. I will have to check those out. I am not familiar with that one. And then Jenny says she also has a Martelli's rotary cutter and she loves it as well. I really do. I like the comfort of the hand. I think that really works well. I really do like it. Thanks, Marley. Guys, if you like today's video and all of the information that I shared with you guys today, please give me a thumbs up. I really, really appreciate that. No, Kim, there is never a dumb question. Okay. Did I miss? No, you did not miss it, Kim. I will post the link to the gift exchange on our Facebook group, and I'll make sure that you are aware of it. Okay. So it is going to be on our Facebook group. I plan on creating it this weekend, and then I will post all the rules and everything. I'm hoping to do that by Sunday. Sunday probably I'll do it and stuff. Okay. Hey, Miss Max, how are you? Oh, Christine says, be careful with those mascara. You can easily dislodge the spring with those. Ask me how I know. Oh, yes, you are correct. Yes, because there is a spring. If you have the multi-needle machine, there is like a little spring. Yes, Christina, and I have seen that spring, okay? And sometimes you got to be very careful, like she said, okay? This sometimes the brushes can be a little bit on the rough side, right? And there is a little spring in there. So when you are going in there and you're cleaning it out, be careful that you don't mess up anything that's inside. If you are not sure about using these, okay, like Christina is saying, if you're really not sure about it, you don't want to chance it, then don't use this then. What I really recommend is then getting these type of brushes, very, very, very soft. Okay, like I said, go to the dollar store or Five and Below. You don't have to be buying all these expensive brushes. They got really cute handles and stuff. They got a bunch of them. But take them out and feel this, okay? And if it feels really soft, you're safe because it's not going to damage the spring or anything like that. Okay, you're just going to just clean it out and stuff. And this is not rough. Okay, the mascara, what Christina's mentioning, the mascara, this is a little bit on the rough side. Okay, I mean, it's still soft, but it still is a little bit on the rough side, and it could catch on something. All right, so if you really aren't sure of what you're cleaning out and stuff, you don't want to damage anything. So I agree with Christina. Then in that case, don't do this. Do this. Okay, nice and soft. It's not going to damage anything, and you can clean it out nicely. Okay, and stuff. So thanks, Christina, for mentioning that because that very, very helpful. Let's see. Oh, and let me see what else. Debbie says the better scissors are an investment. They can be sharpened many, many times and often by the manufacturers. I think they just pay for shipping. And yeah, and and that's the other thing too. Debbie brings up a really good point and stuff. A lot of times when you buy the high price scissors and stuff, manufacturers really do stand up behind their products and stuff. And like she said, you can get them sharpened and all that kind of stuff and everything. It is an investment, like she's saying. It really is. When you start buying these really like and I it's just my experience when I buy the real cheap scissors, sometimes I think, oh, I don't need expensive scissors. I can just go and buy the dollar scissors or $2 or $3 and stuff like that. But then what ends up happening is they get dull, right? So then that's the thing that kind of like got to my mind was, okay, I'm spending $3 on these scissors, then they get dull, and then I go and I buy another $3, they get dull again, and then another $3 and another $3. By the time I got to, you know what, let me just buy the expensive. I think of all that money that I could have saved and invested it on a good pair of scissors. So sometimes you know, the way I kind of see it is sometimes you try to save a buck, but then what ends up happening is you really don't save a buck, because then you bought something that was inexpensive thinking that it was going to last. It really didn't last, and then you end up rebuying it and rebuying it, and when you start adding all that up, before you know it, you should have just bought the good item in the first place, and you would have been better off, you know. So it's just something that I learned with experience and stuff when it came to buying expensive scissors. Because I'm gonna be honest, to me, when I first started this thing, I was like, it's just scissors. That's what was going through my mind, was these are just scissors. Why am I spending $30 on a pair of scissors, right? That's really what goes through your mind, right? Because when you're thinking, I gotta buy stabilizer, I gotta buy thread, I gotta buy this, that, whatever, right? I don't want to spend $30 on scissors. Well, guess what? As time went by, I ended up finding out that you want to spend that kind of chump change on scissors, because what's going to happen is you're going to need them. You're definitely going to need them. Okay, so yeah, but I learned the hard way. Sometimes you just got to you just got to chuck it up, like people say, suck it up, buttercup, um Karen said, I have an old lady budget. Karen, you're not alone. I'm going to be on a fixed income in 2 years too. I'm going to be on that old lady budget too. Okay. I'll be retiring in 2 years. As a matter of fact, I may be on that fixed income a little bit sooner, because my husband is supposed to be retiring in 7 months. So that means that it's going to be like he's going to be collecting and I'm the one that's going to be like still working. And then our budget's going to be tighter when then I retire as well, because then we'll both be on fixed income. So yeah, so oh well. Let's see. Let's see. Debbie says, I have an older, wiser budget. I don't want an embroidery business yet, so I use what I have. And I value in getting the right tools. When I feel a need, I'll budget for it, but not yet. Debbie, I do the same thing. I mean, that is one thing too that, it's kind of funny, because a lot of times people are like, wow, you got a lot of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but it took me a long time to get here. It really did. This is not something, when you look at my sewing space and you look at my embroidery room and stuff like that, a lot of people are like, wow, but I'm going to tell you something, it took a while. Okay. I mean, it was not like that. Okay. I started small. Okay. It was just a folding table with an SC1900 tearaway stabilizer and one box of 63 threads, and a lot of learning, a lot of mistakes, and having to save money to buy everything else. So yeah, it's like it all accumulates and stuff within time and stuff. So, but I did learn that, as time went on, I did learn that there are certain items that it's worth saving for and getting it, like my hooping stations. I will tell you, for the longest, I didn't want to purchase the hooping station, but as I started to get orders for logos for shirts, um God, it's worth so, I mean, oh my God, it's worth every penny, because it saves you so much time in hooping, and the accuracy that you get, it's just it's awesome. So I mean, it really helps me work faster. It helps me work better. So, and even with the hoop master for the single needle machine, same thing. It's worth every penny as well. I mean, to me, it's all about ease and making sure that I'm accurate whenever I'm doing my placement of my embroidery, and those items really do work. So it's an expensive thing to do embroidery. It is not cheap at all. So, but just save, and eventually you'll get there. That's just how I kind of see it. Let's see. So happy I have a reliable come to my house technician. Me too. Having a technician that comes to your house to service your machine is like totally awesome. Truly, truly, truly awesome. I'm telling you, it is like the best. And I wouldn't be able to do this any other way either, because my husband is gonna turn 62, and he there's just no way. I would have to hire movers to take my embroidery machines, put them in my car, and take them to the sewing machine shop, and then bring them back. Okay, I would have to actually do that. It would be a huge expense. So, I having someone to be able to visit my home and work on my machines at home, it to me is like such a big plus. These machines are very, very heavy. And I prefer for them to be serviced right where they are. So this to me is like, yeah, having a technician is like the greatest. I use the one you send me every time. Like today, my number 4 was stitching 10 stitches, then stopped. Oh, okay. So yeah, so for you guys that don't know, okay, last year, Marlene, I'm so glad that you liked the one I sent. I gave everybody one of these. Okay. This is what I gave for the gift exchange last year. Okay. And it was just a little notebook with a little pen. And it was for everyone to just go ahead and use that by their machines. Okay. It was just a little notebook. That's all it is. So that way you guys can keep track of the history of your machine. So Marlene, I'm so glad that you liked it, and I'm so glad that you're using it and stuff. The one that I'm using is actually one that Miss Banks gifted me. She made that notebook cover for me. And even though I do have one of my own, I really do like to use the one that she made me, because she gifted me this one. And this is just from Designs of Little B, and it has a little embroidery design. She put my little name on it and stuff. And yeah, so it's just a notebook cover. Okay. And then she also gifted me a little pen along with it. So yeah, so I like using this one because it helps me think of her. And it's just so neat. I just love it. So, but because I loved this so much, last year at the gift exchange, I sent everyone one of these, so that way they can keep track of how their machines are doing and stuff. But Marlene, I'm glad that you liked it and that you're using it. I think that's awesome. Hey, Pretty Eyes, how are you? Hey Nancy, how you doing? Hey C McKee, how you doing? Let's see. What? I only got 32 likes. Well, I'm sure I'll get more. But yeah, please give me a thumbs up if you like today's video. I appreciate it. Thanks, Crafty Puerto Rican. Um, let's see. Hey Tina Johnson, how are you? Oh no, looks like she embroidered on the wrong side of the bath towel. Gotta go make another trip to Walmart, buy another one towel. Aw. That's happened to me. So sometimes it sucks. I know. Oh, Nancy says she's not sure. You know what, Nancy? That's something that I noticed. A lot of people have said they subscribe to the channel, and for some reason they got unsubscribed. So I don't know. I mean, it's weird and stuff. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, yep. Someone else had the same issue. I think it was Mary. Mary had the same issue too and stuff. I hope she was able to get back in. Hey Ozzy, how are you? How you doing? Hey Debbie, how do you hoop a hoopsie? If you look on the channel, Debbie, you will see I have a video on doing the mama the mom sweatshirt. Okay, in that video, I embroidered not just the neckline, but I also do the sleeve as well. And in that video, I actually show you um how to use that to embroider a sleeve and stuff. So let's see. Miss Jeanette, I'm late. Ozzy, you're good. I have those embroidery backings for the mining hoop, and I love them for t-shirts. It's difficult to use them if you're using two pieces of stabilizers. They fit very tight. Yeah, that is true. I've only used it for one, but I could see them being difficult to use for two because there's only so much space in there. And I think really that's typically supposed to be used with only one. But I could see in instances where you may want two pieces of stabilizer, because I know that when I do logos on shirts, my rule of thumb is I always do two. Okay, I know some people say, oh, you could just get away with one, but I'm like, no, I prefer to use two because I like that extra support on the logo. So yeah, but I could see that, Angela. I could see that happening. um did I miss the size? Oh, see, Tina, the size of that hoop. Okay, well, this is the one that I use for my sleeve. I actually have two of them. This one is the one that I use for the sweatshirts, and this is a 9x3. I also have a 9x4, or I think it's 4 1/4, 9 and 4 4 1/4. The 9 and the 4 1/4 is the one that I actually use for jackets and bigger sleeves. Okay, I use it for that. Or pants. You can use those for, like, if you want to embroider the leg of a pants or something like that, you can use that as well. But the one that I just showed you, which is the one that I use for sweatshirts and stuff like that, is 9x3. That's the size of that. Oh, I'm sorry, Tina, because you asked for the size of it, so I forgot to put your question up on there. Let's see. Oh yes, Debbie, you can take out the seam and the hoop on a flatbed and re-sew it. There's sleeve. Yep. There. Yes, these are for the multi-needle. But Robin is telling you correctly, Debbie. If you are using a flatbed, then what you do is turn the sleeve inside out, take out the seam, put it flat, embroider it, and then just sew it back. It's really easy to sew back. A lot of times they use a serger to sew that, and if you have a serger, you can use a serger to sew it back in, or just a single needle. You can use a single needle with a zigzag stitch or a straight stitch, but just I would use a reinforced straight stitch to make sure that it's nice and sturdy. Okay. Can you come and organize? Angela, you gotta tell me where you live. I'll do it if you're close by. But I am a neat freak. It's funny because my husband kind of he's neat too, though. He's a neat freak too and stuff. But I like organization, because to me, it makes me feel better. Okay. If I see there's a lot of clutter or things are disorganized and stuff, it could kind of like throw off my mood, because I just feel like, I would just feel kind of like anxious and stuff like that. So I even work like that at work. People are at my job sometimes kind of laugh at me because I'm always cleaning my desk, and I'm always like got everything in a particular spot, labeled neat. It's just how I am. I mean, that's how I like it. And it's funny, I was not always like that, because if you would ask my sister, when I was young, like a teenager, my room was a mess. It was like chaotic. It was like you would be like, what the hell? It looked like a tornado hit my room. But as I got older, it's just, I don't know. And I started living on my own, which my mom kind of laughs, because she was like, I wish you kept your room like this when you were living with me. She would always say that. But it's like, I don't know. It's just like, as I got older, I just felt like the organization was really required for me, because it really helped me focus a lot better. So yeah, I am a neat freak. And then I even have a girlfriend that she likes to do like Cricut stuff. And when, when she weaves, she just throws the vinyl on the floor. She just like weaves and stuff. And then when she throws it on the floor, I'm like picking it up and putting it in the garbage. She's like, leave it, we'll clean later. And I'm like, no, I can't. It bothers me. Because even when I'm like weeding or doing something, it has to be in the garbage because I like everything to be clean. So, it's funny because me and her were like, oh, we can't craft together because it's like she'll just weed and she'll just throw it everywhere, and then I'm kind of like catching it and putting it in the garbage. And she just looks at me like, what are you doing? And I'm like, it's just how I do things, I don't know. So yeah, but Angela, I know it's a little weird, but it works for me. Let's see. Let's see if there's any other questions out there. Christmas in July. Yes. We're going to have Christmas in July. Yes, we are. And stuff. Maybe I'll do some make-believe snow or something. We're going to have fun. Let's see. We should have a happy hour cruise. I ain't gonna lie. I thought about that, Marlene. I was like, oh, should we do a cruise or something? That would be kind of fun, right? So I don't know. But yeah, it has crossed my mind. I remember once the baby booty tried to do that, but it got like she couldn't do it because of the pandemic hit and stuff. Yeah, which kind of like sucked. But yeah. But we definitely have to do something. See, Iris says it'd be great, but she'll get seasick. We'll put a sewing machine in front of you, Iris, and you won't be sick at all. You'll be like, oh, I feel better. Let's see. Where's the thing? I need water. How did you print the snowman? Rhonda, I do have a video on the channel. If you go on the channel and you search snowman, you're going to see it. There are settings in Embrilliance that will allow you to do that. I didn't even think it was possible. I actually learned it from someone that watches my videos, and she posted it out there, and she told me about it. And then when I said, what is she talking about? And then when I saw that, I was like, oh, beautiful. So I have a video on there, Rhonda, that shows you step by step how to do it. Okay. So yes, you can actually print the snowman using Embrilliance on the design that you're trying to embroider. Perfect. I'm telling you. And I've been using it ever since. Total lifesaver. Yes, it's under printer settings. But if you watch the video will show you exactly where to click to turn that on. Let's see. Hey, Tammy, how are you? Oh, thank you. Yes, please hit the like button. Hey, Thomas, how are you doing? Oh, Tina, I absolutely love the 2 baby quilts that I ordered. They're so soft and beautiful. 2-day turnaround basket. Oh, thank you, Tina. Thanks. I'm really glad you like your baby quilts. I love making them. And thank you so much also for supporting my business. I really, really appreciate that. I really do. And so I love making those baby blankets. They're really cute and stuff. I have to be honest. I kind of sometimes a girlfriend of mine, when I was embroidering a couple of the baby blankets last week, she came to visit me and stuff because she wanted me to embroider some stuff for her mom. And one of the things that she mentioned, which I was kind of like, you're right. She go, because all our kids now are grown, right? And our children, we know each other for so many years. And our children were, kids that they played together and everything. I didn't do embroidery back then. And she was like, when our kids were little, because they used to play together when they were like 5, 6 years old and stuff. And she was like, if you would have been doing this when our kids were small back then, I mean, she was like, oh my gosh. She was like, Ariana, Anthony, they would have had everything with their initials on it, with their name on it. I would have got baby blankets for the kids, their baptism blankets and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, I know. It's like now that the kids are grown and everything, now I do this. Isn't that something, So, but I told her, I said, well, no problem. And when we have grandkids, when we become grandmas, I'll be ready. Okay. So, so yeah, so it's weird how life is. So, I don't know when I'm gonna be a grandma because Carnito, he's young though. He's young and he's still trying to figure out life. So, and the way I kind of see it too is I kind of feel like this young generation is waiting till they're a lot older to get married and have children, which isn't really a bad thing because you really want to make sure that you are secure and you can provide and all that kind of stuff. And I'm okay. But I will say sometimes I think, okay, I might be like too old by the time you have kids. But hey, it is what it is. So, but Tina, thank you. I'm so glad that you like the blankets though. I'm really glad that you like them. And yeah, I do have a fast turnaround for them too. Let's see. Crafty Puerto Rican, she says, I use the snowman even though I have a Vacoma because it's easier than the Embroidery printout center. Oh, okay. And so I didn't know that Vacoma also does the snowman and stuff. I don't think the snowman feature is really like Brother Pacific. I think the other brands have them also. But I will tell you, those snowman stickers, I really love them because they really help you to position the embroidery design very well on whatever it is that you're trying to embroider. Okay. I mean, that is one thing. Like, I don't know if you guys saw that video that I made where I made that $2,000 mistake. That was like, oh, wow. If I would have had, and you know what was so, I could have killed myself for that, because I had the capability. I just didn't turn it on. I didn't use it. And I was like, duh, why didn't I do that? I was eyeing it, right? And then I missed those 12 bags because the embroidery was like crooked. And I was like, if I would have used the snowman feature for all those backpacks, okay, because it was like, I believe it was like 50 of them or something like that. I did a lot. And it was like, and they were expensive bags. They were like $300 a pop, and I screwed up 12 of them. And I was like, oh, I can't believe I did that. So that was a loss in that job. Okay. A big loss. However, though, you guys know that what I ended up doing was I ended up, taking the bags that I messed up. I created patches on them and I did like inspirational sayings on them and I put like school supplies in them and then I donated them to a school. So it ended up being, I took a negative, turned it into a positive. So that was like pretty cool because even though it was a bummer that I kind of like lost out on a lot of money in that job, I kind of figured it is really a win because I was able to help like 12 students out that couldn't afford like backpacks and stuff like that. So they got really nice backpacks with some beautiful patches on them, and some of the patches said future leader, I can do anything, and I'm going to be great, and I would just do these little like sayings, positive sayings and stuff. And, and I did them all on the 12 bags. And it was like really cool. When I took them to the place, everybody was like, oh my God, these are really nice. And, to me, I kind of looked at it as, well, it's my way to get back. And, you take a negative, you turn it into a positive and it's all good, So yeah, but I really wish that I had used the snowman feature in that order, but that's okay. I mean, like I said, if it didn't happen, I wouldn't have 12 students out here in the world with brand new backpacks. So hey, it happened and it turned out okay. Ozzy says he always prints out the template and traces the design. I also iron the t-shirts or polos before hooping them. I do that as well. Especially, a lot of times though, Ozzy, when I get the shirts from the customers, they don't really have wrinkles in them. So I really don't need to iron them and stuff like that. However, though, one thing that I do, depending on the material that I get from the shirt, if I see that it's a shirt that is very, very thin, right? I want to make sure that the material is not like slippery and it doesn't shift or anything during the embroidery process. So one of the things that I will do is I will starch the shirt. When I starch the shirt, it kind of like really makes the shirt tight, right? And usually what I'll do is I'll starch it with this. And this is usually big with military folks. My husband used to do this all the time. He used to use this all the time to starch his because he's retired Air Force. So, when they have their like dress shirts and everything, if any of you guys know, military folks are very, very like their dress code is like super, super strict. Okay. It's got to be like prestige. Okay. So to save money, sometimes a lot of times what they do is they'll take it to a laundromat so the laundromat can do it professionally. But my husband, to save money, what he would do is he would do his own shirts, right? And he would use this. And this is like something that a lot of folks in the military actually use because this is like a really heavy hold starch. So and it really works great. And it keeps, it makes the fabric stiff, right? So it makes it perfect for embroidery. Another product that people sometimes use is magic. I think it's 3G magic. Oh god, I got a bottle somewhere. I don't know where I actually put it, but something magic and stuff. And it's like another type of starching, which will help it. But I sometimes find that makes it a little bit way too stiff, right? So I want it stiff, but not like so stiff that it's like hard, because then when you give it back to the customer's gonna be like, wow, this is really hard. You know what I mean? So what I do is I usually use the Nagara. I don't even know how you pronunciate this, Nagrera, whatever. But he used to use this on his military uniform all the time. And when and he's retired now and stuff. But I kind of used it now for my embroidery, and it seems to work great. I especially use it when I am embroidering handkerchiefs and dinner napkins. That really, really works great and stuff. Let's see. Hey, Rhonda. Let's see. Don't let anyone distract you from what you're sewing. I sewed a backpack wrong from the frame pocket. Had to take the bag apart. The bag was 50. And it sucks. It does. It really it does. When you make a mistake, Rhonda, it can really suck. It really can. And it can be costly too. Okay. Usually with my local orders, I kind of have customers bring the items to me and I go ahead and I embroider it. I know that I am taking a risk. However, though, I always make sure it's a risk that I can afford. Okay. Now I ain't gonna lie, the $2,000 mistake that hurt my pocket a little bit. But like I said, I just took that negative, turned it into a positive. I was able to write it off on my taxes as a tax donation because I bought the bags, brought new bags, and I was able to take the old bags and donate them to students. So, but mistakes can be costly and it can really, can mess, just make sure you don't take something that you can't afford to mess up. That's what I'm saying, which, and another thing too is also is if you are, very like scared to embroider on other people's products and stuff like that, which I have to be honest, you will have to get over that, okay, especially if you want to do well in embroidery. And I think my son just came home because I hear the door. Then just get your own blanks, or if you talk to a customer, make sure you know where they actually bought the item from. That way they can you can replace it and stuff, and ask how much it costs too. Let's see. Jeanette, do you ever sleep? You're so busy. Actually, Angela, Mother's Day has really kicked my butt. Yeah, I do sleep. Okay, I sleep on the bus when I'm going to work. I sleep on the bus when I'm coming home from work. I do turn off my machines at around like midnight, so I do get a couple hours. I do find my time to rest. I do. Am I extremely busy and always on it? Yeah, I am. But I'm on it. I'm okay. I do take my little breaks and stuff like that. Love your little notebook gift. Write down ideas. Oh, thanks, Crafty Puerto Rican. I'm glad everybody liked that. Hey, Ronald, how you doing? Hey, Christina, how are you? Hey, Tina Johnson, how you doing? Where's Mello? Okay, Mello. Oh my goodness, Mello, they just asked about you. You want to say hi? Did you see Carlito? I guess my son came home, so I'm gonna have to get off soon. You want to say hi, everybody? Yeah, look at that tail. So everybody's asking for Mello. Let's see. So many times when I want to hoop something that I know you've made, search your channel, appreciate the knowledge that you have based, that you've created. Oh, thank you, Debbie. I'm glad that the channel's helping out. I really, because that's really why I created this channel, because I wanted to help other people that really want to get into embroidery and stuff. If you used Mighty Hoops and don't have a hoopy set, I recommend getting the hoop holders. Yes, the hoop holders do make things a lot easier. You are so correct. What are you talking about? The snowman. Okay, the snowman is a capability that the embroidery machine has so that it can make sure that you have the actual correct placement. So if you search snowman on my YouTube channel, you will see what the snowman is all about, Nancy. I explain it. I even show you how it's being used and everything like that. It's really a great feature and stuff. Oh, thanks, Ozzy. Okay, I think I am at the end of. Jenny said, "Hi, Carlito, Fred, and Mello." Aw. Okay, I am at the end, and I know my son came in. I do want to say hi to him and all that kind of stuff. So, guys, I usually hang out with you guys a little bit longer, but yeah, let me go see him, see how he's doing and stuff. I thought he was gonna come in and probably say hi and wave to you guys and everything, but I think he's off somewhere. I don't know where he went. So, I will talk to you guys later. I think he went back downstairs. He's probably raiding my refrigerator right now as we speak. So let me go see what he's up to. So, guys, thank you so much for watching, for spending your Friday evenings with me. For all the mothers that are out there, happy Mother's Day. Enjoy your weekend with your children and your family. And I will see you guys next Friday. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night. Bye.